Sorry. How's it going? Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Welcome. This is Sean. I do sneakers, I do travel, and everything in between. Sneakers, man. I have way too many sneakers. Certainly more than I'll ever need. And if you're a subscriber, if you've been hanging with me, you're most probably in the same situation. In this episode, we're going to talk about impulse buying and how to stop impulse buying. What are the triggers? What are the factors? What are the categories, I guess, of impulse buying? We're gonna focus on sneakers because, well, we're primarily a sneaker channel. For guys, we buy gadgets, we buy watches, sneakers, of course, and clothes. And for the girls, girls buy makeup, bags, purses, gadgets as well, clothes. Whether you're a guy or a girl, whatever the case may be, if you have way too much stuff, you probably are an impulsive buyer. Now let me set one thing straight here. I am not the best person to preach to you about impulse buying because I am a work in progress myself. I'm terrible, guys. I have collections. I certainly have a sneaker collection. You do know that already. So there's this sneaker collection. I do have an inadvertent clothing collection as well. I've accumulated too much clothes and most of them I no longer use, and they're just there. I sort of have a watch collection myself. It's not a big collection, but I do have watches, and most of them I haven't even seen in years. They're just kept away, right? So there are issues in my own backyard that I have to deal with, and this is a great episode because I'd like you to join me in kind of figuring out what the issues are, and the attempt is for you and me to sort of have a management framework. You know, let's put some guidelines in our heads at least on how to minimize, on how to alleviate, how to suppress the impulsive buyer in us. So yeah, let's do it. So here are some tips on how to manage impulsive buying. First, we have to understand and accept that impulsive buying comes from somewhere. You are an impulse buyer because you want to fill certain voids, all right? It may be that you're sad, so it's sadness. It may be image, you're trying to achieve a certain image, or you have an image that you're trying to uphold, right? And there's acceptance. Do you have certain circles, or do you belong to a circle, and you're pressured to buy certain things to continue to be accepted, or are you trying to penetrate a certain circle, and the way to get in is to show off? It's interesting, right? We all have voids that we want to fill. So there's sadness. Are you sad? Did you just come from a breakup, or does your job suck, right? We want a temporary solution to problems most of the time. And guess what? Retail therapy is the way to go. That's what we resort to. I love new sneakers. Whatever the situation is, whether I have a problem or not, sneakers are always there to make me happy, right? Even when I'm happy, I buy sneakers because sneakers, that's sort of your celebration. I'm happy, I achieved something, and I'm going to reward myself with sneakers. Or I'm sad. I'm going to buy sneakers to make me happy. I lose either way. Whatever the case may be, sadness is a void that we want to fill with buying stuff, right? So have to determine that first. You have to accept that there is sadness, and most of the time, if you address that sadness by dealing with the problem, getting to the root cause, the impulse buying might be addressed in some way. Still on the topic of filling voids, there's image and there's acceptance, right? So let me tell you a story. Many years ago, I finally got promoted to senior manager. That meant I was going to be given a seat at the boardroom. That meant I will have more face time, more than ever, with our foreign clients. And that also meant, at least to me, that kind of meant that I should learn golf. Everyone upstairs seemed to play golf, and my clients, whom I already know, but I'm going to be dealing with them in a different capacity this time. They also played golf. And to me, I had to learn golf because I would have to take care of them over the weekends. You know, they would come over and stay for, 3 weeks. And those weekends, I would still have to take care of them and keep them happy. And golf was the vehicle. So I tried to learn golf. I didn't really get good at it. I wouldn't say that I sucked, right? Because I didn't really do it often and regularly to become an expert. But it really wasn't my thing, right? The point I'm trying to make is that there was a circle that I was trying to penetrate. There was an image that I was trying to achieve. Hey, you can hang with me because I can play golf too, but that wasn't me. This particular example isn't impulsive buying per se, but I think it's also a good example. We can use this, as an example of voids that you want to fill, right? I'm lucky that I didn't fall into the trap of wanting to learn golf. And it wasn't a downward spiral. It didn't get to that point where I would buy golf equipment and get the clubs and the outfits and get a golf club membership. It didn't go there. So, yeah, I kind of dodged a bullet. Hey, before we move forward, I'd like you to know that I am not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not an expert in the field of impulsive buying or hoarding, right? Everything we're talking about here, everything I'm sharing with you, is based on experience. All right, so this is personal advice, right? And as with any advice, the rule is take it or leave it. All right. Our second tip here on how to manage impulsive buying is to just look at the stuff that you no longer use or you no longer need, right? And looking at those stuff, picking those out, will make you realize how much stuff you have, and that might trigger some kind of action on your end to get rid of stuff at least, or to stop buying. It's sort of like applying the KonMari method by Marie Kondo. You probably heard of her, Netflix, right? Look at your stuff. If it sparks joy, keep it. If it doesn't spark joy, you may have to give it away, right? But if you're really hardcore, look at your stuff. If you don't need it, give it away. Sometimes that's the best way to go about it. So I want this episode to be practical, and I'm going to show you some stuff that I no longer use or I don't think I need any longer. It didn't take long for me to pick out something. It was within arm's reach. This particular sneaker. Right, it's an Onitsuka Tiger. This is a Colorado, purchased in the U.S. These sneakers are never gonna go out of style. It's a classic silhouette, right? But I haven't worn these in years. And to be honest, if these sneakers disappeared, and I probably wouldn't even know if they disappeared. Someone may steal them and I wouldn't know they disappeared. If these sneakers disappeared, would I get sad about it? Probably not, right? But I'm not about to give this away. Don't go asking for these sneakers at the comment section. I'm not going to give it away. Not yet. So, this is one example. Let me get another one. I found the perfect sneakers to showcase to you guys when it comes to impulsive buying. It just so happens that I'm selling these. These are the Ultra Boost Game of Thrones White Walkers. All right, this was a super impulsive purchase. The release day came around. I decided to drive to the nearby mall and try my luck. Got in line. I got lucky, I guess. I'm not even a fan of Game of Thrones. In fact, I don't like the show. I kind of hate the show. Peace to all of you GOT fans. But yeah, I love sneakers at the end of the day. And these are great looking sneakers. And I haven't even worn them, and now I'm selling them. Alright? Yeah. They were size 10. So yeah, look at the stuff that you no longer use or stuff that you don't need. From there, you might realize that you have a problem that needs to be addressed. Our third tip on how to manage impulsive buying is to allocate a fund Alright, allocate a certain amount for whatever it is that you buy impulsively. In our case, it's gotta be sneakers, right? So, just cap the purchase at 10,000 pesos and schedule it. Let's say I'm gonna buy my next sneaker on the 30th of the month. 10,000 pesos is the limit. Then my next purchase would be on the 30th. If you want to do it monthly, then do it monthly. If you want longer intervals, then it's totally up to you. But the point we're making here is that there has to be a structure and a defined amount on whatever it is that you buy impulsively, all right? And the goal is to get out of that impulsive buying mindset and just be more responsible and be a little more mindful of your resources. If the fund is not yet at 10,000 pesos, because that's our example, right? If you're not yet at 10,000 pesos, don't go get the money elsewhere. Don't get the insurance money. Don't get the baby milk money. Don't get the enrollment money, right? Build some discipline around it. If the allocation is not yet at the amount that you have determined for yourself, or it's not yet at the amount of the particular sneaker that you want to buy, don't touch the money from the other. Just be responsible. All of these tips can be done independently, one at a time. They can be done simultaneously. They kind of work. I'm not a super impulsive buyer, you know. I'm a pretty responsible guy to begin with, so I very rarely get buyer's remorse. And as far as stuff that I no longer use, specifically sneakers, I like looking at sneakers. Sometimes I see them as art pieces, like statues or toys. I pick them up, I would look at them and appreciate the craftsmanship. That's how I am. I may not use them. Most of my sneakers I don't use, but they're pieces to me, right? Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now because I'm starting to sound like I'm justifying my being an impulsive buyer, okay? We have shoe giveaways. Check the mechanics at the description. 2 sneakers. Check them out in the description. Good luck. Before we go, I'd like to remind you that your value as a person is not measured by what's on your feet. Be kind. That's more important than sneakers. I'll see you next time.